what single crop can simultaneously secure food for billions of people and fuel a commercial jet engine? It sounds like a total riddle, right? But the answer is actually growing right now, all across the vast plains of the Americas and the agricultural frontiers of the Southern Hemisphere. We're talking about the soybean. It has completely morphed from a modest subsistence crop into an absolute foundational pillar of the modern global economy. And today, we're going to look closely at exactly how this miracle bean dictates global power dynamics.
Welcome to today's Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here. Today, we're unpacking the fascinating geopolitical and economic evolution of global soybean leadership. We're going to dig into the data to understand not just who leads the world in producing and exporting this vital resource, but exactly why that crown changes hands over time. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll hit 1. The miracle bean. 2. The duel for dominance. 3. Production versus export divergence. 4. Drivers of trade competitiveness. And finally 5. The future soybean economy.
All right, let's jump right in. Section 1. The miracle bean.
Okay, so the soybean isn't just something you find in a produce aisle. It is a massive strategic keystone of the modern industrial value chain. It essentially feeds 3 distinct, totally massive global markets: food, feed, and fuel. First, food for direct human consumption. Then, crucially, there's feed. Soybeans are basically the engine of global food security because they serve as the dominant protein source for the livestock industries. We're talking the meat, dairy, and eggs needed for a rapidly growing population. But then there's this third piece of the puzzle: fuel. Recent policies have kicked off a massive secondary demand for soybean oil to be used as a primary feedstock for biomass-based diesel. So this one little legume sits perfectly right at the crossroads of global food security and the green energy transition.
Just to help wrap your head around how dominant this crop actually is, in the United States alone, soybeans account for over 90% of all oilseed production. 90%. That is a staggering number. It really just underscores how heavily agricultural manufacturing relies on this one very specific commodity to keep the lights on. It's a massive focus of national economic development.
Moving on to Section 2. The duel for dominance.
The story of global soybean leadership is basically this incredible heavyweight bout between 2 hemispheres battling for agricultural supremacy. You've got the big 3 heavyweights of the international market: the United States, Brazil, and Argentina. Now, for decades, the U.S. stood as the absolute, unrivaled leader. Today, however, Brazil has risen up to seriously challenge and frankly often surpass the U.S. as the primary supplier. And you really can't count out Argentina either. They remain the crucial third pillar here, though their trajectory is, well, a lot more volatile. That volatility largely comes down to domestic trade policies, like export taxes that can suddenly flip producer incentives upside down, plus some pretty unpredictable environmental conditions.
So how did this massive shift actually happen over time? Well, from 1997 to 2018, U.S. dominance was fueled by huge resource endowments and really fast tech adoption. Think tweaking seeding rates and narrowing crop rows to squeeze out maximum yield. But then geopolitics totally flipped the board. In 2018, China hit U.S. soybeans with retaliatory tariffs. That forced exporters to scramble for new markets and rapidly shifted global trade flows straight down to South American suppliers. And that laid the groundwork for 2023, when Brazil decisively surged past the U.S. in total production, officially cementing its status as the world's largest net food exporter.
To put the sheer scale of Brazil's growth into perspective, in 2023 alone, their production surged by an astonishing 30.8 million tons, just a colossal amount of beans. And this meteoric rise wasn't just about clearing more acreage to farm, it was heavily driven by significantly improved yields and rapid technological adoption that finally caught up to historical U.S. standards.
But hey, the big 3 aren't the only ones in the game. Take a look at this wild card: India. Right now, India faces some pretty steep barriers to soybean imports. However, economic simulations are telling us that if those import barriers were dropped, India's domestic processing industries would absolutely thrive. A policy shift like that could single-handedly rewire regional trade dynamics in Asia, creating a massive new center of gravity for global demand.
Section 3. Production versus export divergence.
Now you might be wondering, doesn't being the top grower automatically make you the top exporter of raw beans? Actually, no. And to understand why, we have to talk about crush facilities. When soybeans are harvested, they don't all just get loaded straight onto a cargo ship. A lot of them are sent to domestic industrial processors, crush facilities.
It's exactly what it sounds like. The beans are crushed to extract soybean oil, largely to feed this skyrocketing demand for domestic biofuels. What you're left with is a massive surplus byproduct known as soybean meal.
And this perfectly explains the completely diverging game plans of our two superpowers. The US is still the world's second leading producer, but more and more of its harvest is being purposely diverted away from raw export and into those domestic crush facilities for biofuels. So while US raw soybean exports are facing pressure, their soybean meal exports have actually shot up to record highs. It's a deliberate pivot toward higher value-added exports. Contrast that with Brazil's strategy, which is still heavily focused on maximizing raw soybean exports directly onto the global market. Two totally different structural approaches to the exact same miracle bean.
Section 4. Drivers of trade competitiveness.
At the end of the day, logistics and broad macroeconomic forces are what actually dictate global winners. It's not just about who can grow the most, it's about who can move it effectively. Which brings us to this vital economic concept called basis. Basis is the crucial price difference between what a farmer gets paid locally and what that bean sells for on the international market. The whole US-Brazil rivalry often hinges entirely on this one metric. Why? Because basis is heavily dictated by the efficiency of transport networks getting those beans to major ports. If your infrastructure is lacking, your basis widens, and you lose your competitive edge on the global stage, literally no matter how good your harvest was. When you synthesize these macro drivers side by side, the structural advantages become crystal clear. Take currency. A historically strong US dollar makes American exports inherently more expensive, whereas Brazilian currency depreciation has seriously boosted their export competitiveness. Look at infrastructure. The US has established, highly efficient networks, but Brazil is rapidly expanding and optimizing theirs to close that gap fast. And finally, geopolitics. The US facing those 2018 tariffs is exactly what allowed Brazil to swoop in and capture that shifted global demand. These are the deep, fundamental forces reshaping trade flows.
And finally, Section 5. The future soybean economy.
So where is all this data actually leading us? Well, authoritative projections paint a really clear picture for the next decade. First, future production increases in top-tier countries have to rely heavily on yield-driven growth, meaning tech and productivity gains, rather than just planting more acres, as land availability is becoming a major environmental flashpoint. Second, Asia is going to expand its position as the absolute top protein demand hub. As their middle class grows, dietary preferences are shifting toward more livestock-based proteins, meaning a huge spike in demand for soybean feed. And third, biofuel mandates, those are going to intensify globally.
Just to give you an idea of the scale here, by the year 2034, Brazil is projected to increase its ethanol and biomass-based diesel incorporation mandates up to a whopping 40%. When a top global producer diverts that much of its own yield into its own energy sector, wow, that is going to severely tighten the availability of vegetable oils for the rest of the global food market.
Which brings us to the core narrative we've uncovered today. The ultimate challenge of the coming decades is balancing the nutritional needs of a planet with 8 billion people against the booming, basically insatiable demand for renewable energy. The soybean is caught right dead center in the classic food versus fuel debate, making it an asset of absolute paramount geopolitical importance.
I want to leave you with this to chew on. How does a single weather event in Mato Grosso, Brazil, or a random trade policy shift in Washington, D.C., ultimately determine the price of the food on your plate and the fuel in your car? The global soybean economy is this incredibly, deeply interconnected system. Once you understand these structural trends, from crush facilities to currency basis, you suddenly have the lens to see how global agriculture actually works. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and definitely keep your eye on the miracle bean.